everyone, welcome back to the Pasco County Animal Services channel. Today we're going to talk about a really fun topic, which is things that you can do at home for your pet, and that's enrichment. So enrichment means basically giving and providing stimulus, different items to your pet that they may not normally interact with. And so when you change it up and you offer different items to them, it can mentally challenge them, it can provide them comfort or calmness. And for us at the shelter, we like to provide enrichment to our pets because our shelter can be a stressful environment for a pet to be in. Even though our shelter is amazing, being in a kennel and listening to your neighbors bark all day, or being in a smaller cage such as the cat adoptions versus being in a home can be stressful for cats. So we like to provide different enrichment items to our pets throughout the week, and that provides them something to focus on and takes their mind off of being in the shelter for a little bit. So the best way to describe enrichment are items that we provide our pets, and at the shelter we do it 6 days a week, and they're items to provide mental stimuli or maybe a calming effect, different things that we give our pets that they won't normally expect. And that's why we do it on a 6-day rotation so that it's not just an everyday occurrence. And this can be things like puzzles or different treats that we provide. We love our shelter, but it can be a stressful environment for a pet to be in, especially a dog listening to their neighbors bark all day, or being in a cat kennel and not getting to see their usual area, getting to roam around in a house. So giving them different things that they can focus their attention on really helps to alleviate some of that stress that they may feel while they're at their stay in our shelter. Now, from a home standpoint, the great thing about enrichment is you can provide different things like that to your pet and give them something different to play with or interact with, and it can be a really fun experience for both you and your pet. So today we're going to get involved in a few of them on the dog standpoint and go through a few things that you at home should have around your house, may have around your house, and if not, you can get creative and find other ways of getting them built so that we can enjoy some time with enrichment on our pets. So we're going to go through a few enrichment items today that you can provide your dog, and they are items that you may have already around your house. We want to make this easy, so we're not going to make them too complex, but these are very simple things that you could do and provide them to your dogs. You'll see a few videos throughout here that show, once we've completed some of these enrichment items, how the dogs react to them once we provide them and get them done. So just a fair warning, a few things to go over. First, if you're watching this, kids, please make sure you get parents' approval before taking any supplies or anything around the house to do so. Secondly, we are going to have a few of our items that involve peanut butter. So if you have a peanut butter allergy, maybe skip to the other items that don't include peanut butter so that you don't have that allergy. And then third, always make sure that whenever you give an enrichment item to your pet, that you are still monitoring them. You never want to leave them unattended with a enrichment item. Okay? Let's get started. Okay, raise your hand if your dog is what you would consider an active chewer. We have a lot of dogs at the shelter that love to chew. It's a great stress relief for them. It gives them something to do. And at the shelter, we have to be really cautious as to what kind of toys we give our pets because we can't always monitor them every second of every day. And so we want to give them something that's a little bit more on the safe side. So for us at the shelter, a lot of what we use are Kongs. Now these items, they don't have to be Kong brand. We're really just looking for the rubber toy itself. And the cool thing about these is they last so long for us at the shelter. We wash them, we use them again and again until they get to the point where we can't use them anymore, and then we toss them. But they are great items to have, and we're going to show you how we use them at the shelter. Okay, so at the shelter, we typically use our Kongs as an enrichment item. We rotate them like I mentioned earlier, and we will fill them with a mixture of kibble, maybe a few little smaller treats and things like that. So I happen to have that here. I have my peanut butter, and I've just got a butter knife so that I can seal it at the top. So those are the items you will need. I will say that Kongs come in all different sizes and shapes, so get what works for you. This would be great for one of our pit mixes, but probably wouldn't be the size that I would give a Chihuahua, for example. So make sure you're getting the appropriate size for your pet. All right, what we're gonna do is go ahead and I'm just gonna fill it. At the shelter, we don't fill them all the way. Again, we don't wanna mess with their already established diet. So this is more of a treat. This is a once in a while type thing. And so we will fill it typically about halfway or so. We don't wanna fill it completely, like I said. So just to where I can see it, about halfway through, like right here. And then I'm gonna take my handy dandy peanut butter here. And we don't want to get the peanut butter inside. It's a lot harder to clean once the peanut butter gets inside. So the best thing to do is to take a big scoop and you're just gonna put it right on the top to seal it. Another great thing to do with this is you can use an old mug or something like that to put it in and hold it. May be helpful for the smaller children just so that they get a little less messy. So once you've done that, it is ready to go. Now for us at the shelter, again, now that it's sealed, we do freeze these. Again, it just makes it harder for them to get inside once the peanut butter is frozen. So we'll stick these in our enrichment freezer. At home, again, use that mug technique. Put it inside an old mug and then put it in your freezer so that keeps your freezer a little bit cleaner and less peanut buttery. And when you're ready, pull it on out and give it to your pet. A couple other things I would say about this is, again, number one, make sure you're using peanut butter that does not include xylitol. That is toxic for our dogs. And then secondly, there's a variety of different Kongs or even puzzle feeders that you can use for actually your entire meal. So if a dog is maybe a fast eater and you want to get them to slow down, use a puzzle feeder such as this or a slow feeder so that way they're getting their nutrition and they're not eating it too quickly. So you can use this as a substitute for that as long as you're providing their regular food in here and not just treats. Have fun. All right. So this next enrichment item is also very easy and it only requires a couple materials. The first being a Frisbee. No, we're not going to throw it. We're actually going to use it for a tasty treat for your pet. So step number one, a Frisbee. You can also use, if you have anything like maybe a plastic plate or something like that if you don't have a Frisbee. For us at the shelter, we use these to provide treats to our pets. We actually have a little carabiner that you can see on here, and we clip this to the cages so that they have something to lick and focus on in their kennels while they're at the shelter. But for you at home, obviously the animal won't be inside a kennel, so you can certainly, if you have suction cups, maybe off the back of like the baking soda things you put in the fridge, put a suction cup, put it on the wall. I've seen folks do this in the bathroom, on the bathtub as they give their pets a bath. So completely up to you. We're just going to use the Frisbee, and of course with our shelter pets we use the carabiner clip for their kennels. So that's step one. Item number two, peanut butter. This is probably our shelter pets one of their favorite things. Peanut butter, we recommend using creamy. It just spreads easier. The other thing too is please make sure you're not using sugar-free peanut butter. Anything that says sugar-free in regards to peanut butter typically has xylitol, and xylitol is actually toxic for dogs. So make sure it's natural and make sure it doesn't include xylitol. Okay, those are the only two items. I will tell you that this is a fan favorite of my younger volunteers to create this at the shelter. For me, however, I am going to put a glove on because I am not a fan of being as messy as they are. But here you go, and let's get started. Okay, parents, I'm going to apologize in advance. This is going to go against everything you have taught your children in regards to how to use peanut butter out of a jar using a knife or a spoon. We, however, are going to use our hands. So at the shelter, anytime we're using peanut butter, of course, we call it puppy peanut butter, not people peanut butter. Especially once you've reached your hand in, you're probably not going to want to consume that on your own. So please make sure you have designated the puppy peanut butter going forward. I will tell you that the kids love to do this because it means that they get to get messy and they get to go against everything we've taught them in regards to don't put your hand in the jar. So without further ado, I'm going to put my hand in the jar. That's what we're going to do. So, okay. So you're going to take a big scoop just like this. I know, crazy. And for us on our Frisbees, it's got that smaller circle there. So that's what we're going to do. And all we're doing is spreading that lovely peanut butter. Oh yeah. Big fan. Big fan. Woo! All right. So there you have it. It's a decent amount to where it's worth it for the dog. What we do at the shelter is we go ahead and pop these in the freezer. We have an enrichment freezer for our pets. And then once it's nice and frozen, we'll go ahead and clip this to their kennel. And then they just go to town with getting the peanut butter and licking. It's kind of cool at the shelter because it's quiet and all you hear is the tap, tap, tap of the Frisbee. So couple things to remember. Again, number one, always if you're a student, a child, make sure you're asking your parents for permission before sticking hands in peanut butter. And secondly, these items are meant to be treats. So please make sure that you're doing this in moderation. Please, of course, don't do this every day, all day for your pets. We want to make sure it's an enrichment item, something that they're not expecting, and that we're not doing anything that could mess up their diet. Okay everyone, I hope you have enjoyed going through this video with us today. Hopefully you've gotten some great ideas of things you can do at home with your dog to provide a little enrichment in their lives, whether it's the snuffle mats, or it's the Kong, or it's the peanut butter sandwich, or of course, my favorite, the Frisbee. You have found some great ways to spend some time at home getting things accomplished for your pet, giving them some enrichment items. And remember, at our shelter, we do provide enrichment 6 days a week, and a lot of these items we get donated through citizens such as yourself. So thank you for donating. Thank you for investing time in providing enrichment for your pets, and we look forward to seeing you guys at the shelter soon. Bye-bye.